Hey there. Thanks for listening to the Alive and Well podcast. See, Alive and Well Health seeks to bring about conversation that helps us with true transformation, which really starts from the inside and leads out. We touch on a variety of topics that cover health, wellness, fitness, and rehab. But more than just information, I want to share stories from everyday people who don't have everything in life figured out, but they are passionate to get better and to help others get better and live in this state of being alive and well. Today is part 2 with Amy Rasquin, and we're just going to jump right in. The last time we ended off, she had mentioned that she was going to give us tips on what we can do today to be successful. Here we go. Every year we start out January 1st as like the day that we are gonna, new year, new me kind of thing, right? So I think we wait too long. Amy, tell us, what can we do today that is so simple that could start us on that journey of a mindset or an identity of health and wellness?
Absolutely. The one simple thing is make a decision. Make a decision. I'm about to do a 4-week detox myself through a friend who specializes in gut health. And there's some mindset there for me because I teach food freedom. I teach you're going to be able to have the pizza or the donuts if you want it. And I cannot have anything outside of this 4-week detox. So it's very much against what I believe in, but I also believe that it's so valuable to do a detox, to do a cleanse. And I've got to set my mind to it. So there's always that challenge, right? Like when we're growing, there's going to be an uncomfortable challenge. But make a decision. When you make a decision, you can make a decision today. I made a decision to do this 4-week detox starting Monday. I actually had this conversation with her this morning. I said, wait, I'll be all pumped up January 1st. I literally had this conversation with her. It's so funny you're asking me this. And then after, it's so funny, I tend to get ideas and clarity in the shower. Don't know what it is about hot showers. But when I was in the shower and I got out, I messaged her, I changed my mind. I'm starting Monday. Make a decision. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that because it shows a humanness to even to you and me, because we're not perfect. We don't. Sometimes we make good decisions, sometimes we don't. And I think that idea that you wanted to start January 1st, but then you intentionally said, no, let's do it Monday. And I think that goes a long way to our audience and to your audience that follows you as well, that, hey, Amy's just like us. Perception is she might have all this and have the 6-pack and everything, but she struggles just the same as you and I. So I love that a lot because I want to bring that realism, I guess, to each person. That it doesn't matter what the perception is, if you're a king or a queen up here, or if you're just a pauper, right? We all struggle the same. We all put our pants on the same kind of thing. And I love that a lot. In American culture, it seems like portion control is such a big issue. Amy gives us some insight on how we can tackle this issue so we are not tempted to overeat all the time. My culture we struggle with is eating a lot of rice, and there's a portion control problem. And then I think in America there's a portion control problem too. What do we do to help our portion control? I feel like that's such a mindset, and how do you kind of talk to your people about that?
My God, I love it. It's it's week 2 of my program, and it's so simple. And like you said, we make it so complicated. Why do we make it so complicated? Because we get told by this person to do this, and we get told by this person, eat this, don't eat this much, don't eat that, never eat this. And then a year later, it's all different. So many of my clients, when I get on for that discovery call, that first call to learn what they're looking for, all of them want simplicity and they want a plan, and they're confused. And there's a reason they're so confused. So I love the example of rice more than you know, because think about it. Who's living off the most rice in the whole world? China. And are they obese? No. So why? There's just a misunderstanding, misconception, and a lot of confusion. So it's not portion control. It's mindful eating and intuitive eating.
No, that's good. And I have to actually think about this because I want to get your thoughts on this. In I think in any culture there's this issue. If you don't look a certain way, you are deemed either too skinny or too fat per se. And so I had an example of I went to a family reunion and I saw some family member of mine that I hadn't seen in like 20 years. So, just reuniting after 20 years, whatever. And 20 years ago, I looked totally different. Okay, so I don't even understand this. But they came up to me and they're like, "Hey, you're not eating enough, or your mom's not feeding you enough, or like just comments like that, right?" And I was like, "Whoa!" Like that's like the first thing they said when, not like a hello or anything, right? And I was like, "Whoa!" Like who are you? Like first of all, back up. And so there's this like issue that if we don't look a certain way, it's a problem. Like, has this happened to you? And then, what's your thoughts on that?
Is an amazing point to bring up, and part of why people subconsciously self-sabotage themselves is exactly this. Because when we change, the people around us can freak out. Because if you're changing, then it's a reflection of their own projections. So when you can own that had nothing to do with you, and that's what that person said, thought, felt, judged, whatever. It had nothing to do with you. Like, I also help people to own themselves and own, because if you're like now justifying, hey, wait a minute, I actually am eating more, I'm moving more, I feel better, I have more energy, like, and hello, I'm older, like, there's a point where we have, gosh, I weighed more in my 20s than I do now. And isn't it funny? Everyone says, "Oh, hormonal changes, you're not going to be able to get rid of the belly fat." That is like not happening to me at all. The exact opposite is happening. So owning your own stuff, knowing that that's not yours, but what I help women with is recognize when that comment from someone else, whether it's you're thin, you're too thin, or you're like a great example is like an Italian family that like eat your pasta, eat, eat. And someone won't lose weight because they don't want to be different. And that's a huge self-sabotage. There's like 3 different self-sabotage patterns that come up and then some more. But, we dive into them. When you have awareness, you have power.
Mindset is such a big deal. And we're getting close to the holidays. So, Amy, Thanksgiving is like the ideal time to talk about portion control and mindset. Talk to us about some of your tips and tricks that you like to do, or that you tell your clients that would help us today before we get into the holiday season, kind of have that mindset towards it.
All right. So a lot of people will say like, "Oh my gosh, how many thousands of calories did I consume on Thanksgiving Day?" And really, with food freedom and honoring what you want to eat, I say go into Thanksgiving like, I'm going to enjoy the day, right? I'm going to enjoy what I'm going to enjoy, and there's going to be plenty of leftovers. So the big thing is fill your plate, right? Fill it with everything you want, and honor when you're full. Because what happens is, for some reason with Thanksgiving, everybody wants to go to second serving, third serving. It's like the buffet, right? It's like you're gonna feel stuffed. And you know what? If you're okay with that, it's okay for one day. Let it be, and get back on track the next day. But if you honor your hunger and your fullness, and also what people will do is they won't eat. My husband does this. He won't eat all morning, right? Turkey trot, we're going to run, and then I'm going to have 3. And what's happening is all this food is being consumed in this short window of time. So it's like you're not eating all morning long, you're starving. And then, you can just simply choose to eat normal that day and enjoy the feast, but not overeat. To the point of being uncomfortable having to unbutton your pants. Again, make a decision for the day, right? Like, I'm going to enjoy this, I'm going to enjoy that, and I'll enjoy more of it, the rest of the week.
I struggle with the I run a marathon or whatever. I don't run a marathon. I can't even run like a mile, but I run to do some stuff, and then I save all this. Like I deplete myself until the meal, and then have like 3 plates. And I say this because listen, I'm human, and I'm asking Amy these questions genuinely to fix myself as much as I would love our audience to like help themselves as well. So when Amy tells us these things, I am writing these things down and taking tips as well, because I know I'm going to struggle at Thanksgiving, and I know I'm going to struggle with the candy bar stuff at Halloween. And I look to people like Amy as a coach and as a accountability partner to guide me through those times as well. So I'm on the biggest struggle bus, okay? The double-decker, triple-decker bus over here.
You're welcome. And when people are in pain around you, you're in pain. Like my husband one year, he just disappeared. I'm like, where did he go? He went to go walk around the block because his stomach was hurting him so much. Like,
Oh, right.
How is that enjoyable, right?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Some people would say I don't have the motivation to change my lifestyle, or it's too inconvenient. How can Amy guide us in our thought process in this?
How do you stay motivated? Like really, that's a struggle I have to meal prep or make this decision every day. Is there something that you physically do or that you practice daily to kind of keep yourself motivated?
Yeah. So starting off with the identity. When it's who you are and it's what you do, there's nothing to stay motivated about. Number one, we're wired to do what's most enjoyable, what's most pleasurable, and what's easiest. So to stay motivated, as long as you're doing at the least, let's say you create 3 things. I may not be perfect today because who is ever perfect, but I'm going to at least move my body, drink enough water, and have a grab and go snack. So at least I'm doing 3 things to get me in the right direction. Or what's easier? I'm going to make sure I go to bed on time. I'm going to make sure I get a good night's sleep so I have an extra 20 minutes to make my lunch in the morning. So like what is most easy, pleasurable, and like it's like just no big deal. No big deal. There's nothing to motivation to do something is usually something we don't want to do.
Amy practices gratitude, and she helps teach us how we can do it too. For example, I'm grateful to be listening to a podcast that makes me be intentional in my health and wellness journey. Shameless plug. Tell a friend.
So I have a meditation I listen to on a regular basis. It has like a voice guiding me and then a lot of silence. And it allows like every day for me to like just choose one thing. It'll say in there like one person, one thing, like even just a breeze on a hot day, something so simple. But what's that phrase when we cannot be in gratitude and something else at the same time? We can't be in gratitude in like a lower frequency, a lower disempowering frequency. So when we're in gratitude, when we start our day off in gratitude, we're starting on a high vibration. And that high vibration is going to help every decision and every choice we make. So when we're coming from a place of high vibration, we're going to make healthier food choices. We're going to want to exercise. We're going to want to get sunlight. We're going to want to be social. We're going to want to live this full life. It's when we're coming from a disempowering place. I don't feel like it. I'll do it tomorrow. So it's like, what's your vibration? If you want to start your day with a high vibe, get into that gratitude by as simple as saying, like, what are 3 things I'm grateful for today? First thought in your head.
I like what you said, Amy. Doing 3 things that we're grateful for. So I'm going to say I'm grateful for my family. Is that a cop-out answer? Do we all say that? No, that's a good one. I'm going to say I'm grateful for the ability to walk. I guess I work in a field that I see a lot of people that have struggles walking, and so that my legs work. And then I'm grateful for I'm grateful for you, because I think you give us a lot of great strategy and tips and coaching to kind of keep us going. So relationships matter to me. So I am grateful for relationships. So I would say I'm really grateful for you. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Chris.
Tony Robbins says, if you don't have 10 minutes, you don't have a life. So what does Amy help us understand we can do in minimal time to make positive change? Let's listen in.
If I had only 5 minutes or 10 minutes, what would you suggest that I could do in a 10-minute window? I got kids and I got to take them to soccer, and and then that soccer is going to go all day, and then I got to make dinner, and I only got 10 minutes, Amy. How can I stay active in that 10 minutes? What's something that you would do or that you would teach us to do?
I did this challenge where it's earn your shower, and it could be as little as 10 minutes every day. Like literally get a sweat for 10 minutes and hop in the shower. And I do that a lot of times when I know I'm not going to have a big window to work out. So power of 10-minute pockets are huge. And number one, like exercise-wise, you could get your booty kicked in 10 minutes. Do you know, like you hit a hit video workout for 10 minutes and it is mind-blowing. And as far as food prep, it takes as long as we decide. It goes back to that decision. So how can you, with 10 minutes, think about it. Like you could wash some veggies, throw in a scoop of hummus. You've got a snack there. You've got, a handful of almonds, a handful, a sliced apple ready to go. Like what could you do in 10 minutes? If you challenge yourself to actually accomplish 3 things in 10 minutes, both with food and exercise, you already would be like light years ahead of versus not doing it. 0 will give you 0 results. 1% will get you there. It'll take longer, but if you're giving me 10 minutes instead of 1 minute, imagine what we can do.
No, that's great. I want to talk to the people that are listening that have families. And I heard this said a while ago that family that trains together or a couple that trains together stays together. How important do you think it is for your family or your partner to be on board with your health and wellness lifestyle?
I like this question because it actually will go back to that self-sabotage we spoke about. If someone's spouse isn't on board, someone can use it as a great reason. I can't lose weight. My husband always buys Oreos. I love Oreos, and I'm going to, so if your spouse, it's great to have accountability. And if it's not your spouse, it can be someone else. But the trick is, it's got to be someone who's giving you the right accountability, the right support. Because if you're going with a girlfriend that's like, yeah, we'll skip. Yeah, let's go grab a drink instead. That's not going to work. You've got to have the right accountability. So I believe that I think it's empowering to know that you can succeed whether your spouse is on board or not.
I would say at least having somebody on your team, right? Even if it's not your spouse, but having that coaching like Amy on your team or having a friend. Because there is a study that says people do better when there's accountability to a program than when they're not. So like the simple idea is if you go to a gym by yourself, you're more likely to linger around and do something that is probably not part of the plan versus if you have somebody come with you, you guys do it together, you're pushing each other. Like there's a aspect of that is true, and that's what studies show. So I would say even if your spouse is not on board, for sure, find that person that could help you stay accountable and be that. We have 2 more questions and we'll finish it off, Amy. And I want to get into a little bit of soul health. So one of the things that I have been trying to dive into in the medical field is we are really good at physical health in the sense you can ask Dr. Google and 100 million resources will come up on how to be better physically, right? Lose this weight and gain this muscle. In mental health, we're coming around to the idea that you should see a therapist or you should talk to somebody that can help you with questions or something that can guide you along mental health, right? But in soul health or like a spiritual kind of health or talk, unless you're like a religious person, you don't really think in that sense of like something simple like how's your relationship with your father or how's Do you have like bitterness or anger problems, right? It sounds like a simple question, but it really triggers into like a deeper side to our soul health. And when we address like health and the journey of dieting or weight loss or that can get, I like we were talking about, it's an identity thing, and that has to trigger a deeper sense of soul. So I want to just ask you, what is a question that we can ask ourselves to help us dig a little deeper on our soul health when it comes to this journey that we've been talking about?
Yes. So you really unlocked the core just now in your question, because people think like way up top on the surface, like, do I portion control? Like I can't have rice, like, but when you get to that core of why are we emotionally eating? Why are we binging? Why are we, what's happening? What's the emotion? And that's that nutrition emotion connection that I help people with, so they can identify, why am I eating this? Why do I want this? Why am I craving this? Whose voice is this? Would be the answer to your question. That would be one tip that I would give someone. Like when they hear, don't eat this because it'll make you fat. Like, whose voice is that? Is that your voice? Whose voice is that? Did that come from childhood? Does that come from a marketing? Like, who's saying that? And is it true?
Yeah, that is so good, because from my example earlier of that family member that kind of critiqued me on how I looked, that voice can like pop in my mind every so often, or my own voice of tearing me down can pop in. And that's a great way to think about it. Whose voice is in your head? And if you don't like those voices, pray that we get better voices around you, that support you, that feed into you. The community around you matters. And so we, myself and Amy and others that I've been talking to, are part of that community that wants to be a positive voice in your life. And so if that's something that you're interested in, please send us a message, and we're more than happy to connect. Okay, so let's go back to just the busyness of life, and I just want to end with this. Can you give me something today, physically, that I can do, mentally that I can do, and then kind of like soul-wise, like practice, whether that's what you just said or not, spiritually, something that I can do that can better me as a human being today, on my journey?
So physically, let's use some of the material we talked about today, because we have lots of nuggets within what we talked about today. So I think that 10-minute, if you can't work out, if you can't do like an hour-long walk or an hour at the gym, what can you do in 10 minutes? Physically, get in that, earn your shower. Do the earn your shower challenge with yourself.
I like that.
You could literally run outside, right? 10 minutes running, or, hit a video, or if you have your own. So 10 minutes of working out. And with spiritually, let's go back to the gratitude, because when we are on that high vibration, think about when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thought that goes through your head? Sometimes it's really negative, right? Like, oh God, I gotta get up, it's Monday, whatever. So what is that first thought? And, go right to gratitude. Go right to gratitude. Emotionally, is that the other category?
Emotionally, mentally.
Yeah. Let's go to the emotional nutritional connection, because this is the core. As that last question you asked me, it's not about portion control. It's not about all these things we think it is. And it's so much more simple than we think it is. And if we can get that connection between when we're eating the foods that are derailing us from being healthy, like on an extreme amount, that, what is it I really need right now? Is it a bowl of ice cream, or what am I really looking for? What emotion am I looking for? What other way can I get that?
Yeah, that's a good one. When we're sad, we eat ice cream.
We're looking for happiness, right? We're looking for joy.
Yeah, you can't be sad eating ice cream. Who's ever sad when you walk into an ice cream parlor? Like, you can't be sad. And we want to thank you for your time. I appreciate you, Amy, for being a voice in the community that is helping us on our health and wellness journey, and that you are being accountability for us, coaching us, encouraging us, and inspiring us to be our best selves. And we look forward to future talks. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to this part 2 with Amy Rasquin. If you enjoyed this talk and are thinking there is value in this conversation, share it with someone. The way we become intentional is by getting others involved in our journey to keep us accountable. One question I want us to think about is, who is the voice in our heads that is feeding us a negative mindset? Was it some family member like in my story? Is it a friend? Was it your 3rd grade teacher saying you'll never be anything? Or is it someone that said you'll end up in jail before you're successful? I need you to recognize it and where that's coming from. And here's the difficult part. I need you to forgive them. Don't hold on to bitterness. Don't let it be some chip on your shoulder, because that's just a different form of bitterness. But just forgive them and decide you won't let them speak into your life again. And now go find someone who will encourage you on your journey so that together we can say we are alive and well. Thanks.